The anti-party hopping bill set to be approved. Quarantine no longer required for those who have received their booster jabs, and missile hits Kiev amidst Russian attack. Those are the headlines for tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Muhammad Yusuf, and this is TVS Nightline. Now, Singapore's low-cost airline Scoot Airlines has made its inaugural flight to Miri International Airport. The flight landed at 2:20 p.m. on Wednesday, and cumulatively, Miri will have 127 of incoming flights per week.
Minister of Transport Dato Sri Lee Kim Shin said the inaugural flight was supposed to take place on January 19. However, it was rescheduled due to unforeseen circumstances.
This includes today's Scoot's A320 aircraft with capacity of 180 passengers, 2 times weekly, every Wednesday and Saturday. Inaugural flight between Singapore and Miri. Scoot is the first airline from Singapore that lands at Miri Airport today. Scoot will be operating the flight from Singapore to Miri 2 times weekly and Singapore to Kuching 3 times weekly.
Lee further disclosed that the flight was one of the first steps for Sarawak to recover its economy that was badly affected by the pandemic. Although tourists are now allowed entry, they are bound to the stipulated SOPs, and if violated, would cause some actions to be taken.
The growing number of visitors from Singapore to Sarawak since 2010 has increased from 38,743 to 46,812 in 2019. However, due to the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, the number of visitors from Singapore coming into Sarawak has gone down to 7,363 in 2020. We expect the number of travelers and visitors coming from Singapore and overseas to Sarawak will gradually increase and expected to improve in the near future, especially with the aggressive tourism promotion.
To date, the number of incoming tourists to Miri has increased to 120,078 as at January 2020 compared to the same period of last year.
Now, with its rich natural resources, Sarawak is capable in attracting foreign investors, which could be commercialized to further boost the state's economy.
According to Sarawak Biodiversity Center Chief Executive Officer Dr. Yeo Tiong Chia, products made out of quality natural resources could potentially attract the interest of foreign investors.
They are very interested in looking at what are the products from biodiversity that come out from our research and development. To them, it is very important that the products have some meaning if they're going to invest, and this has to be environmentally sustainable, and there is governance over these biological resources.
At the same time, strategic partnership with local companies in developing Sarawakian products could turn Sarawak into a great digital economic power.
The companies that are visiting SPCs today are made up of technology companies. They have a very far outreach to customers, and therefore we want to take advantage of their connection and network to sort of to bring our products to the wide network of customers. And I think that this would help us boost the commercialization of our products, and also to bring the unique products from the rainforest to customers who are very conscious about environmental sustainability.
Now, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Parliament and Law, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar, is confident that the anti-party hopping bill will be approved when it is tabled in the Dewan Rakyat. This was following positive responses from a session held with members of Parliament, non-governmental organisations and party leaders.
Secara keseluruhannya, prinsipnya ramai bersetuju. Jadi hanya tinggal satu persoalan pada saya ialah perlembagaan kalau dipindah berkehendakkan undi 2/3 sokongan di Dewan Rakyat. 2/3 bukan yang hadir dalam Dewan Rakyat. 2/3 ialah daripada jumlah ahli Dewan Rakyat yang ada sekarang ini ialah 220.
Previously, Wan Junaidi proposed several amendments to the Constitution via his press statements, which also stated that the Prime Minister would serve for only 2 terms. The current Prime Minister, Dr. Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, has also endorsed the bill via a Transformation and Stability Memorandum of Understanding with Pakatan Harapan signed on September 13, 2021. Wan Junaidi had also stated that the amendments were not meant to hinder any democratic process, but to prevent economic erosion in the country.
Now, over 90% or 1,132 students from Chung Hua Primary School number 3 have received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine under the National COVID-19 Immunization for Children, or PIC Kids. The data was disclosed by the chairman of Chung Hua number 1 to number 6 Board of Management, Dato' Jonathan Chai. Now, despite encouraging numbers, Chai disclosed that several parents have remained skeptical about inoculating their children with the vaccine. Chai backed his statement by noting a survey conducted by the Sarawak Health Department, which shows 60.3% from over 41,000 parents are in support of PIC Kids, while 14.5% are against the notion of getting their children inoculated. Their main concerns are complications and the side effects of the vaccine. The remainder percentage remain neutral on the matter. Even so, Chai said the school board will provide the necessary support to protect students despite being vaccinated or not when they are in the school compound. At the same time, he advised parents to not believe any fake news being spread regarding the vaccine on social media. The best solution is to consult medical advice from professionals to address their concerns. Right, in a COVID-related development, a new COVID-19 cluster involving a school was reported in Sarawak today. Dubbed the Lorong Siol Kandis cluster, it originated from a family in Kampong Pinang Jawa, Kuching.
The Sarawak Disaster Management Committee SDMC in a statement today said the index case was detected through the screening of individuals with symptoms at a private health facility on February 15. It added 29 individuals in the cluster were screened, with 9 of them found to be positive, including the index case. Meanwhile, Sarawak today recorded 416 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the cumulative number to 257,952 infections in the state to date. Kuching remained the top contributor today with 136 cases, followed by Cebu with 95, Miri 75, Bintulu 27, Kapit 21, Muka 16 and Matu 10. And the move to impose tighter standard operating procedures for tourism programs, including the requirement for COVID-19 screening, is to ensure that the industry is not affected by the increase in daily cases in recent times. Federal Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Sri Nancy Shukri said the move was also among the ministry's efforts to balance the country's security, health and economic aspects. She said that like the Citrawana Keluarga Malaysia 2022 event happening now until Sunday at Kuching Waterfront, strict SOPs are introduced to ensure that visitors can attend with peace of mind. Among the SOPs introduced at the large-scale event included complete vaccination status, not allowing children under 12 to attend, providing 7 canopies to limit the number of visitors, and encouraging swab tests prior to the event. Earlier, Nancy officiated the National Craft Day 2022 at the Kuala Lumpur Craft Complex on Thursday. today. The ministry has set a 10 million ringgit sales target from the event, which sees the participation of almost 300 handicraft makers and entrepreneurs throughout the country and is expected to attract 30,000 visitors. In her speech, Nancy said the National Craft Day had generated 245.4 million ringgit in sales through the involvement of 7,831 entrepreneurs and attracted 1.1 million visitors since its inception in 2003.
4 years after its absence, 2 years due to the pandemic, the Citrawarna Festival have made its comeback today in the capital city of Sarawak. Various activities and hundreds of booths are open, welcoming visitors from far and wide. And our reporter, JC Ho, has the details.
Thank you, studio. I'm here at the Citrawarna Carnival located at Waterfront Kuching. Things are looking good despite the heavy traffic and the road closure. Today is day one. We can see performers doing their rehearsals for the big concert this Saturday on the floating stage. Local authorities are doing a fantastic job ensuring everyone do follow and practice the SOP for this event. Also, I would like to encourage everyone to come and visit some of the fantastic and amazing booths here today. We have Malaysia Convention and Exhibition Bureau. We have Aswara Malaysia, Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia, Tourism Selangor, Tourism Perak, Culinary Heritage and Art Society Malaysia. We have the People Accessible Network for Digital Empowerment Industry as well as here. Don't forget to visit the TVS booth where guys can stand a chance to win awesome vouchers and TVS goodies by playing games and answering questions with our amazing talent from TVS. And it's been a while for the people, so I'm sure this event is going to be a blast. I'm JC Ho reporting. Back to you, studio.
Welcome back to the Nightline. Now, 3 individuals, including a woman, were injured after being involved in a harrowing accident involving 2 cars at Jalan Kebun Lama in Batu Niah, Miri on Wednesday night. In the accident, one of the drivers suffered bodily injuries while the female passenger sustained minor feet injuries.
Setibanya di lokasi kejadian, pihak kami mendapati 2 buah kereta jenis Proton Saga dan Proton Azia masing-masing mengalami kerosakan truk di bahagian hadapan. Pihak kami hanya mengeluarkan pemandu Proton Azia yang merupakan seorang lelaki yang kemudian diusung menggunakan stretcher sebelum diserahkan kepada pihak ambulan Batu Niah. Manakala pemandu dan penumpang wanita yang menaiki Pertuan Saga berjaya keluar sendiri daripada kenderaan. Wanita terbabit turut mengalami cedera ringan pada kakinya dan telah diantar ke hospital menggunakan kereta orang awam.
Batu Niah Fire and Rescue Department Bomba Chief Rary Binji said a distress call was received around 8 p.m. The injured male drivers were sent to Miri Hospital in an ambulance, while the female passenger was brought to the hospital by members of the public. The rescue operation involving 11 Bomba personnel ended around 8:34 p.m. Now, police have arrested 4 suspects believed to be involved in an armed robbery that took place at a hotel in Park City Commercial Square, Bintulu. The suspects will be remanded for 6 days to assist in the investigation.
Kalau kita tengok balik, kejadian berlaku pada 24.30 pagi ya. Dan tangkapan dibuat pada 22 hari bulan jam lebih kurang 5.30 petang ya. Jadi pihak polis telah dapat menyelesaikan kes ini dalam tempoh 48 jam. Ini merupakan satu usaha yang baik di tingkat Jabatan Serta Jenayah APDB dulu untuk menyelesaikan kes sama ini. Okey, keseluruhan kerugian dianggarkan dalam kes ini adalah RM3,717.
Zulkifli also disclosed that one of the suspects had 4 previous criminal records involving drug abuse and robbery.
Meanwhile, in Cebu, a driver succumbed to his injuries after the vehicle he drove was involved in a single vehicle collision at Jalan Deshaun on Thursday morning. Sarawak Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Chief Superintendent Alexan Nagachabu said in the 6:30 a.m. incident, the 23-year-old driver was pronounced dead on location.
The deceased was believed to have lost control of the car, which then skidded to the left side of the road before hitting a rock and skidded onto the right lane of the road. Based on reports, the deceased was ejected from the car due to the strong impact. It was learned that the deceased was on his way to town center from Cebu Jaya. Medical personnel pronounced the driver dead on location, and the body was sent to Cebu Hospital for post-mortem. The case is being investigated under Section 41 Bracket 1 of the Road Transport Act 1987.
Right. Sarawak Sape sweetheart Alena Murang is set to perform at Japan's folk concert known as Menyo as the honorary guest musician from Malaysia. The concert will be held to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Malaysia's Look East policy. Music enthusiasts will be able to experience different styles of Menyo performances as the acts usually feature traditional renditions.
The concert is set to take place at the Kuala Lumpur Performing Arts Centre KL Pack from March 4th till 5th. Alena will be performing alongside 5 musicians from Japan, namely Tanaka Shiho, Kato Irina, Sukta Koshi, Kato Takuya, Kumagai Daisuke, and Hiranuma Jinichi. According to a statement by the Japan Foundation Kuala Lumpur, Menyo, or literally translated as folk songs, is traditionally sung among townspeople due to its unique style of singing by using a technique known as kabushi. Lyrically, Menyo helps to understand the daily lives of the Japanese people, their perception about seasons and culture, as well as a platform to showcase Japanese costumes. The Japan Foundation Kuala Lumpur further revealed that a conventional setting of a Menyo performance consists of vocals, shakuhachi or bamboo flutes, shamisen, a 3-strings instrument, and chimadaiko or small drums. However, for the upcoming concert, the audience will get a chance to experience the wadaiko or big drums and percussions, which add more depth sonically compared to a more conventional setting. Those interested to be a patron or to get more insights about the concert may browse the website as shown on screen.
Right. Adults above the age of 18 who are in close contact with COVID-19 positive cases have taken their booster shots and are asymptomatic will not be required to undergo quarantine from March 1. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said this new procedure was based on the risk assessment in a move towards the endemic phase.
However, he said, the close contacts who are not required to undergo the home surveillance order must take a self-COVID-19 rapid test kit on the 1st and 3rd day from the last day they were in contact with the positive COVID-19 case. Kerry said if the test came back positive, the individual must report the result via the MySejahtera application and undergo self-quarantine. And if it came back negative on the first and third day, the individual can carry on as usual. Based on data from other variants, MOH found that the viral load in fully vaccinated individuals would decrease, adding that the viral load would likely be reduced in those who have taken booster doses during the Omicron wave. Kerry said for fully vaccinated individuals who are tagged as close contacts but have yet to take a booster jab, the quarantine period remained at 5 days. He said the ministry found that individuals who tested positive or contracted the virus during the Omicron wave would show symptoms on the third day. He said close contact individuals would be required to answer health assessment tool questions via the MySejahtera app, where they would be asked whether they are exhibiting any symptoms.
Moving on to the next news. In his maiden visit to Cambodia, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said Malaysia plans to increase its palm exports to Cambodia and rice import to Malaysia as ways to strengthen bilateral trade between the two countries.
In addition, the two countries also intend to expand collaboration in the fields of ICT, fintech, cybersecurity, SME, and business startups. Ismail Sabri said this at a press conference with Cambodia Prime Minister Samdech Tekno Hun Sen at the Peace Palace on Thursday. He said he was also happy to hear about the encouraging development of cooperation in the halal sector and that Malaysia will continue to assist Cambodia in developing the halal ecosystem in the kingdom. In return, the Cambodian Prime Minister suggested that Malaysia imports more rice from the kingdom and also invited Malaysian businesses to invest in rice milling. Other matters discussed between the two heads of nation included the opening of international borders. In 2021, total Cambodia-Malaysia trade surpassed $500 million, an increase of 13.14% over the previous year. Cambodia is the host of the ASEAN 2022 summit and is the fourth country visited by the Prime Minister since he was sworn in as the 9th Prime Minister on August 21st last year.
Welcome back to the Nightline. Now, tension continues to escalate between Russia and Ukraine as Russian President Vladimir Putin authorized a special military operation in Ukraine's Donbas region in the early hours of Thursday and told the Ukrainian military to lay down their weapons.
In a televised address on Russian state television, Putin said Russia has been left with no choice but to defend itself against what he said were threats from Ukraine. The scope of the Russian military operation was not immediately clear. Earlier, explosions were heard in Kiev, the Ukrainian capital. Putin said Russia would respond instantly if any external force tried to interfere with its action and that Moscow would try to demilitarize Ukraine. Putin's comments come after the United States said Russia had stationed nearly 150,000 troops near Ukraine's borders and after Russian-backed separatists appealed to him for military help against what they said was growing Ukrainian aggression. Shortly after Putin spoke in a televised address, a few Ukrainian soldiers were seen standing around armored vehicles that were parked on the roadside in Mariupol. The port town of Mariupol is less than 20 kilometers from the nearest trenches in the eastern Donbas region. Cars and buses were visible on the streets as some were lining up to fill their cars at petrol stations as people remain in their homes as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced martial law across the country.
In the same development, an unidentified missile has struck Kiev on Thursday. A few hours, Russia invaded Ukraine by land, air, and sea. The missile shell was seen at the impact zone located in the southern part of the southern city.
Ну, во-первых, я услышала какой-то страшный такой, как выбух, наверное, сумасшедшей силы. Вот. И потом я вскакиваю, не знаю, куда мне деваться, паника вначале, конечно. Но я выбежала, вот у меня окна выходят и по двору на Васильковскую. Я выбежала, все машины, сирена, то есть работала у всех машин сигнализация. Знаете, никаких нету ни дыма, ни гари, ничего. Но что происходит, непонятно, в общем-то. Это какие-то 5 минут, в общем, меня хватило, паника сумасшедшая. Потом я открываю двери, уже 5 минут буквально прошло. Полиция, люди с торбами, с детьми на руках.
Currently, police and army personnel are inspecting the missile. More explosions could be heard as missiles rain down on Ukrainian cities before dawn in Kyiv. President Volodymyr Zelensky called on all citizens who are ready to defend the country to come forward as the capital would issue weapons to everyone who wishes to do so.
Now, black smoke was seen rising over the Ukrainian Defense Ministry intelligence headquarters in central Kiev on Thursday, February 24, although the building appeared to be intact. Ukraine said on Thursday some of its military command centers have been hit by Russian missile strikes as Moscow launched a military operation against its neighbor. However, the military intelligence building was not damaged, and the smoke appeared to rise from a large fire next to the building into which uniformed people were throwing bags. Just outside Kiev in the town of Robbery, authorities said at least 6 people had been killed by a series of missile strikes. And that's all the time we have for tonight's TVS Nightline. Follow us on our social media on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at TVSTVMY for 24 hours news update. Once again, I'm Muhammad Yusuf. Take care and have a good rest.